Well, so on that one, I'm really curious because you've written a lot about this and you've researched this extensively. Is this confirmation bias, this identity that we build into ourselves that becomes, if we're not careful, an existential threat to us, because we can actually get to a point where we've built our identity so strongly in whatever it is that we confirm, that anything that threatens it,
yes,
we shove to the side,
yes.
which, and there may be people listening to that who go, that's not true. That's not me. And it's like, that in and of itself is confirmation.
It is you.
It's confirmation that yes, it is.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And quite frankly, that's not abnormal in the world we live in. All right. If you go into the just take the business world for an example. I mean, you got very senior people who are very smart and also believe they're even smarter than they are. And, so if you think about it, you go into team meetings and there's people, basically it's competition. It's who's going to win. It's who's going to lose, who's going to look bad. And
it's a zero-sum game. It's at least often treated that way. That
right.
In order for you to win, I have to lose, and vice versa.
And in the era we're going into, it's going to be mission critical that all of those ways of being are going to have to leave, because collective intelligence, the intelligence of the group, is far greater than any one person's intelligence. And I don't know whether you've read the research coming out of MIT and Carnegie Mellon over the years on collective intelligence, but it's fascinating research, and I share it, and there's going to be a lot of people listening that are going to find it shocking. All right. And that's every one of the male species. All right. And it's interesting. MIT started out and did 5 major research studies. So this is over some years. And they built collaborative teams. It's all about optimizing collective intelligence, optimizing team collaboration. All right.
Okay.
The design was, teams of, 5 men, no women, 4 men, 1 woman, 3 men. You got it. 2 women. You know how it goes. And they did various projects. And in all 5 of those studies, the best teams, the best collaboration teams, were made up of 5 women and no men. The second best teams were 4 women and 1 man. Third was 3. You can see where this goes. Well, Carnegie Mellon, which is another great school, said, this is all wrong. They're missing this. So they did their test. All right. They did 3 tests, and their tests came back with the same results. Now, why am I sharing that? Because it's clear, and I wrote a piece about 3 years ago for CEO World saying that by 2030, 50% of the CEOs in the big companies in the world will be women, because of what that science says, that collective intelligence. And so I'm bringing this out by saying that, wow, if that doesn't say to somebody, I need to change, I need to learn how to relate and communicate with people in ways that brings out the best in them and gives them, and truly listen to them. I mean, how many times have you gone in a meeting and, people are writing their answers or looking at their phone or whatever? What message does that say to people? It says, you're not important.
What you have to say isn't really all that important.
Yeah, that's right. Or, and even worse, you're not that important. I don't even respect you. All right.
Right.
And so it's all this change that's going to happen because no one person is going to lead the smart AI movement.
No.
And if you look at the tools, and you're an expert on the tools. I'm not an expert, but I use some of the tools and, for specific purposes. I mean, the best thing I can do is have somebody else that I can basically say, here's what the tool is saying. Here's what I think is going on. What do you think is going on? And so it's
Yeah.
this way of being that we're going to have to change in our life, not just in the workplace. It's like, okay, we're all into this. And the biggest issue in our country is the fact that our society, especially in the business world, is a survival of the fittest, survival of a society,
Yeah.
so to speak. That doesn't fit
It doesn't.
when you've got the transformation that we have going on here. I mean, if you just think about it. Go back to last Christmas and try to just, and everybody that's listening, think about it. How did it all feel? What went up? And then how did it feel in, March when, Chat GPT 4 came out and when this thing really accelerated. All right. And it's only was in March that this happened. I mean, this is November. The
I
difference,
know we haven't even been through a full calendar year yet.
March, it feels like to me, the difference between March and November is like 2 or 3 years of life has gone past because so much new stuff is coming so fast. I mean,
Yes.
everything that people have learned, they've learned in a short period of time. And then they're also learning that I got to learn even more. And
Right.
what they don't
It's
realize,
overwhelming.
yeah, it's overwhelming. And what they don't realize is I got to basically rewire myself and take ownership of my ego, my mind, my emotions, all right, how I listen, my behaviors. And I've got to actually do the work daily to do that, because that human transformation that needed, it goes back. The greatest examples, some great examples are NBA basketball teams. Almost all the NBA basketball teams have a meditation coach full time. All right. There is a reason you can get one, an NBA basketball player who basically can take 100 jump shots from mid-court, strike that, 60 jump shots from mid-court and hit 100% of them, because he's done the work to come to the situation with the inner calm and inner peace that he can basically assess and just flow. All right.
Yep.
So you got basketball.